Have you ever heard a dog howl at the moon? There are many stories that claim to know why. But if you ask a dog, they may sing you a different song. They may sing you the ballad of One-Pawed Dog. Now this is a story that hasn't happened yet, but that doesn't make it untrue. One-Pawed Dog was a dog, and he lived on the moon. He was an old dog and had lived there a long time. On the moon, every day was gray and every day was the same. Each morning he awoke, put on his gray hat, walked out his gray door and went to work in his gray garden. And while he worked, he sang, "Gray, gray, all I see is gray. Everything is gray about me. Gray, gray, all I see is gray. Everything is gray around me. The hat upon my head is gray. The flowers that I tend are gray. My cloak is gray. My fur is gray. Oh, everything is gray, 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 gray. All I see is gray. Everything about me is gray." Nothing ever changed on the moon, but One-Paw didn't mind. He was set in his ways, and an old dog, as everyone knows, does not learn new tricks. But then one day something was different. One day One-Paw looked up in the sky and saw something new. And then the new thing came closer. And then the new thing crashed. One-Paw was a dog, not a cat, so he was not curious, but he was courteous. He felt obligated to check on this new thing. It was the neighborly thing to do. And so he said goodbye to his garden and made his way to the light side of the moon. One-Pawed Dog had never left the dark side of the moon. He'd never had reason to. He didn't know what to expect, but it certainly wasn't what he found. "Hello," said Phineas the Frog, appearing suddenly from behind his fallen spacecraft. "I am Phineas the Frog from Mars. Who are you?" One-Paw said he was One-Pawed Dog from the moon. The frog was delighted. He had learned all about dogs while on Mars. They were loyal and true. In fact, many things delighted Phineas, and One-Paw was about to hear about all of them. Because Phineas the Frog needed help preparing his spacecraft, and One-Pawed Dog, although uncomfortable with the sudden interruption to his schedule, felt it was rude to say no. For many days, the dog and the frog worked side by side, never in silence. One-Paw was a dog of few words, but Phineas had enough for both of them. He also had stacks of papers full of strange phrases such as fuchsia pink and teal blue, and a thing called a color wheel. And he had a map, which he would frequently ask One-Paw to consult with him. But the dog courteously declined. He did not understand maps, and he felt he was too old to start now. The frog was on an epic journey. He was going to a place called Earth. "I think I shall start in the land of green," he would often say as he looked at his map. And he said it so often that One-Paw, in spite of himself, asked why. "Because I'm green, and there's sure to be more green things like me there." One-Paw was confused. He thought his companion was a frog. "I am," exclaimed the frog, But I'm the color green. On Earth it seemed everything was a different color, not all gray like on the moon, or all red like on Mars. That's why the frog was going to Earth, to see something new. On Earth, they even had a thing called a rainbow, and he wanted to see this most of all. When the frog got excited about his plans, One Paw often found himself working on the ship alone. But he didn't mind, and after a while, he didn't mind the noise so much either. On Earth, even the moon is blue, said the frog one day. But what shade of blue? He consulted his papers. Navy, baby, cerulean. This was the frog's favorite. He continued to say the word cerulean over and over, encouraging the dog to join him. Cerulean, cerulean. But One Paw once again declined. Each day was like this. But at night, when they settled down to eat, the frog would grow quiet, and then he would sing. The pale blue dot, it calls me. Oh, will I ever find my road through a sea of glass and clay? I'll make my way. How far I will go. The road, it may be long, I know, with many perils. Even so, I have to find my way out there. My thoughts are like a rainbow, 'cause they're full of many colors. Red, orange, green, violet, blue, yellow, and indigo too. There's so much out there to see. I do believe each day something new, and adventure soon will find me underneath the cerulean moon. Too soon, it was time for Phineas to leave. And on that morning, he surprised One Paw by inviting him to come along. But the old dog declined once more. He was not one to seek adventure. And so, the frog said farewell to the gray dog in his gray world. I will miss you, my friend, but if you ever wish to see me, you can find me again on Earth in the land of green. On the first day, One Paw Dog barely missed Phineas, and on the second day, he only missed him some. By the third day, he was feeling very bad, and the flowers in his garden started to comment on it, and on the fourth day, he made his decision to go to Earth. Using discarded objects, he cobbled together his own space pod. His garden gave him their blessing and slipped some seeds into his pocket as a snack for the journey. He promised them a swift return and cautiously pointed the spacecraft in the direction of what he hoped was the land of green. With a roar, the rocket launched into space, away from his gray home and onward toward the pale blue